after thank you? I can't talk about the weather when someone compliments me on my dress. For those of you who've been wondering where on earth I'm filming right now, I'm in a little bunkie. Let me show you around. It's gonna get a little bit bumpy because this camera's not made for this, but this is our bunkie where a lot of the kids stay. And then outside you can see my dad. He's working out there right now, fixing the water slide and the dock. Not a bad view, eh? This is one thing I really wish I could have in Germany, but unless you're a millionaire, I don't know if that's gonna happen. Maybe even a billionaire. Anyway, down to business. A few of you have asked me to share some Canadian habits that I've noticed coming back to Canada that my family and friends have been partaking in and that you would like me to share them with you. There are so many habits that I just realized. And I gotta say, I don't hate any of them really, except for the small talk is a little bit hard for me now and a little bit frustrating. So let's start there. Should I introduce myself? I'm Jenna, I'm Canadian, I'm back in Canada on maternity leave. I'm living in Germany for the last 10 years, bam. Okay, small talk. Canadians are actually really good at small talk. And I think I forgot what small talk is all about here because I'm so used to like, you know, es soll morgen regnen, ne? Das ist voll schlimm, weil ich wollte das und das machen und jetzt kann ich das nicht machen. Ach, das Wetter dieses Monat ist echt so schlimm. Letztes Jahr war viel schöner. Like, these conversations are the ones I'm used to. So I like start here talking about the weather and people are just like, okay. Here's where my realization came that I'm actually really bad at small talk now and I have become too German. I was at Tim Hortons ordering coffee for my parents and the lady at the cash register looks at me and halfway between my orders she's like, sorry, I just have to stop you. Your dress is beautiful. And I was just like, thank you. Thank you. I was just like, what do you say after thank you? I can't talk about the weather when someone compliments me on my dress. It felt really nice to be complimented on my dress. And this happens a lot. Like, since then, I've been complimented multiple times on different aspects of my life. But just that conversation, I sat down and I talked to my cousin and I was like, okay, what was I supposed to say? And she was like, easy. Thanks so much. It's so comfortable. It even has pockets. Like, you should totally get one. Oh, thanks. I got it from Old Navy. You should check it out. They have a sale next week. And she's like going into detail, like making up all these things I could have possibly said, but I didn't. I'm German. Okay, number 2 would definitely have to be that I am so behind on the slang here. Canadians have a really bad habit of using insane slang. I find in Germany there's not as much slang. We've got like formal and informal conversation, but the teens and tweens in Germany, they have slang. A lot of them actually like to speak Denglish because they think like speaking this mixture of English German is cool. For me, I'm like, that's really great because then I can understand everything you're saying. But in Canada, there is really heavy slang. Like, I would love to tell you some of them, but I don't even understand what my younger cousins are saying to me sometimes. Here you can check out this list from Quirky Tours. They wrote some of like the most obvious ones that I do still remember, but might interest you because if you've not been here before, you might not hear it. But you know, we've got Tim Hortons, which is like our Starbucks here. We do have Starbucks, but a lot of people like Tim Hortons better. And they have Timbits, like donut holes. So we call them Timbits. We call Tim Hortons Timmies. If we're ordering a coffee, we say we'd like a double, which is 2 milks and 2 sugars. Because sometimes you get them in the little packages, you know? You've got your 2-4, which is your 24 pack of beer. You've got your toque, which is your Canadian winter hat or beanie, I guess you could say. We've even got loonies and toonies. Loonies are $1 coins and toonies are $2 coins. Those things I remember, but the new slang, I'm just like, I don't know what you're saying to me. Number 3, we really do say sorry way too often. And I'm feeling bad now because I'm forgetting to apologize for things that weren't my fault. And then people kind of look at me and take a step back and are like, is she being rude or has she just become Germanized? I don't know. Also, adding to the being polite and saying sorry when you're not actually at fault kind of thing, the biggest thing in terms of Canadian habit that I have realized here is that instead of you telling somebody what you want, Canadians are so polite that they're always gonna ask you, what would you like? I'm not saying that this is always gonna be the case, but I'm gonna give you an example here. We were driving on our way to get coffee, but we were going to head to my dad and my stepmom shortly after that. We went and got the coffee, we were on our way back, and then my husband was like, crap, Jenna, I forgot. In Canada, like, you have to be overly polite. And then I'm like, oh crap, yeah, you're right. I pick up the phone, I call them, I'm like, sorry, we're just at Timmy's. Tim Hortons. Just wondering if you guys want a coffee. We were already on our way home and they were like, sure, we'll have 2 large black coffees. And we were like, crap, we have to be more polite. Like, why were we so rude and we didn't ask? And it's not rude, it's just in Germany, this is not always the case and it's not for everybody, of course. I have to say that loud and clear right now. But we are more likely to say, oh, awesome, do you mind picking me up a cup of coffee as well? Like, it's just common nature. It's really not rude. It's just a different way to approach a situation, if that makes sense. So this is like the biggest thing that I've been trying to practice while being here. Being proactive and asking people, would you like a drink? Do you want that? Are you hungry? And like constantly being on top of my game, which is one of the things that I mentioned that is exhausting in Canada when I posted that video on things that I'm gonna miss about Germany. So it has been exhausting, but it's also sad. Like, I don't wanna lose all of my Canadian in me, so I am practicing a lot. And one last thing I've really noticed that is totally a Canadian habit, and you might argue with me as a Canadian here, but I have to say in comparison to Germans, this habit is very much true. We are very much good weather people, which means if it is pouring rain outside, you're likely not going to take your kid to the playground. In Germany, everybody's in Matschhosen, like these splash pants, at the playground. Of course, it's not going to be packed, but it's not going to be a shock to see 2 or 3 other kids at the playground while it's spitting outside. We are at the cottage right now, and I'm actually really liking it because we've had this strange tropical climate right now where it rains every day and it's sunny every day. So it's like pours and it's black and thunder and lightning. I love thunderstorms in Canada. Way better than Germany, side note. But everybody in my family stayed indoors. And there was my German husband being like, oh my God, it's raining. Let's go out and go swimming. It would be so much fun. So every single time it's rained here, the boys and all my nephews have gone swimming in the water when it's raining. Similarly to winter, a lot of the time we stay indoors in Canada. It is a lot more snowy typically, depending on which region you're in Germany. That might not always be the case. We pick up a lot of hobbies in Canada that are indoors. We blast our heaters and we enjoy the warmth. My sister lives in northern Canada where it's dark pretty much all winter long, extremely snowy, and quite often always snowed in. And I was like, what do you do? And she's like, oh, I do beading, I can learn how to crochet, like I do a lot of indoor projects. And I was like, what? In Germany, where we live in Düsseldorf, we don't have so much snow, so we do a lot of hiking. It's still cold. I find Germany freezing cold. Like, I don't find a difference despite the temperature difference. I find it quite bone-chilling cold in Germany because it's raining a lot. Nonetheless, we go outside. And then I realized, you know what? I was totally a good weather person when I was in Canada. We would stay inside until we got enough energy and motivation to be like, let's go out and build a snowman. And then after 1 or 2 hours, you'd be freezing cold. You'd go in for like a cup of hot cocoa and like sit there and watch a movie in your pajama bottoms after having a warm shower. That's what I remember about Canada. And in Germany, we're pretty much out all the time, all year round, despite bad weather. I will end this note because I know you've all been thinking it. In Germany, we like to say, es gibt kein schlechtes Wetter, nur schlechte Kleidung. There's no such thing as bad weather, just bad clothing. If you have more ideas for videos while I'm here in Canada, let me know. Vielen, vielen lieben Dank und wie immer, bis später.